bus rounds the corner. It's another year, another proud child whose sorrow stands unspoken. They know she's leaving to survive. If somebody wants to be somebody, somebody's. Welcome into a little less formal, like, like it could be called formal. Anyway, this is a discussion, I guess, story time, man. A little bit of story time. I realized that during some of these podcasts, there's some stories, and somebody sent me something that I'd never seen before, and it actually had a band that I was associated with, and the music was discovered. I thought I was the only one that had that. I wasn't sure who else had a copy of that stuff, but I got a recording when I recorded with my friend Chris Biondo, and we'll get to that in a second here. Now I'm back from West Virginia. I can kind of quickly trace up to that point. But it was in a recording studio on there. They're called Black Pond Studio, that was owned by my friend Chris Biondo, which wasn't too far from where I was living at the time. It was really quick. I could get over his place in about 5 minutes. But I guess between Rockville and not Gaithersburg, but whatever the next town over was. But it was a studio there, and it was a band that we got together called Scatley Crüe. And it was it was really kind of a strange deal here. The members of this band, and it's accurate on the SoundCloud. Somebody has it on the SoundCloud page here. It says one of the two songs that we recorded. But it's on the SoundCloud stage, and it says the members of the band. But let me get you there in a second. I left here, West Virginia, moved down to D.C., worked a little bit in some management and retail management in different places, type of work, but largely wanted to play, and played in some bands. Had a band 10 Below here, started here, and really our big thing, I guess, for here for locally is we won a contest by DC 101 to put in one of your original songs, and Mike Hounshaw, very accomplished friend of mine who lived locally, and I was lucky enough to join their band and record with these guys. And so we kind of put together something that was, I don't know if you want to call it, I never listened to Journey, but it was kind of proggy, I guess Kansas, kind of proggy and stuff. And but some of the stuff kind of got poppy too. And there's actually two incarnations of that band. The first incarnation was that way based when we were largely here, and then we moved to DC. I came out from behind the drums, started singing a little bit, hacking at the guitar, not doing very much. But we had another drummer, a German guy came in, Dave, and he was a real good player. Anyway, Mike's gone on to good things. Mike's got some stuff up on, for sale from Numero. Actually, that the great Soul labels picked up one of his old recordings, and I think he was going to do something with some of our older stuff. But anyway, I moved down there with that band. In connection to that band, in connection with my job, I came in contact with Rich Carlson, and my band 10 Below was playing in different clubs in DC and latched onto some shows. And but we had some members that still were kind of living back here, so it was kind of hard to coordinate. And then their band, The Now, who kind of turned into a ska thing. I guess it was an English beat ska thing, because people kind of reacted pretty well to that part of their set. It wasn't their total set. But I think their songs mostly you could categorize them in that vein. But anyway, their drummer left and their singer left. Their singer left to go to Lucy Brown, and they got signed to Atlantic. And then Juan Gone, who was their drummer, stopped at the same time that Gene did. I guess he was more interested in being a student, and I'm probably doing big things now in the world. But I took his place, and I was playing. And then from that band, things kind of evolved. Now, we got down there, we played, we had great shows at Max's on Broadway in Baltimore, great shows, City Gardens, great shows in New Jersey, great shows in DC 930 Club. I mean, we had the 930 Club. If I'm not mistaken, there was actually a time, I believe, where our stuff, I could be wrong about this, but I think that's kind of how Scatley Crüe started. I'm trying to explain how they got started. We were at some kind of sound check or set the equipment up or something, but I thought we were there for a period of time. And, when I got there, I remember I got there, Seth Hurwitz, who owned the 930 Club, IMP, legendary manager now, who's who's gone on to actually play, in big stadium type things with the Foo Fighters. Actually played drums after ours. I guess ours was kind of a test run for that, but he was playing drums. And Jeff Ellis, I think, who worked 930 Club, was playing. Jeff was the only one I really didn't know a whole lot before the. I knew Kenny in a way. Of course, a DC legend from the whole punk days. Senator Inouye's son. That has nothing to do with any of this, but anyway, that's how he came to DC. And he was very instrumental in the 930 Club. He was in the management of the 930 Club, so I saw him all the time. I managed a store down the road called Penguin Feather in Georgetown. It was fairly well, kept a good pulse of what was going on between us and Orpheus, the place down the street. The record store. I think most people, we kind of got the pulse of that. There was a Waxy Maxi up the road, and then Nobody Beats the Whiz came, and I transferred to that up on Wisconsin a little bit. But nevertheless, we came to practice one day during one of our engagements or something, and these guys were up there playing, and it was funny. Seth had a certain style, and he was playing my drums, and I didn't mind, so they started playing, and then somehow we arranged for some kind of thing to have a gig actually play because Dred Zeppelin was coming, and they thought, well, let's have fun and let's have fun and let's do something there. So that's really what happened. But you know, just a strange thing that happened, and I don't know why the other guys in the band weren't involved. Darby and J.W. Hill. I don't know why they weren't involved in it, but it ended up being the horn players. Our horn section, Robbie Devlin, my great friend from Rockville, Chris Gelsinski, who I felt really close to. We did a lot of, Chris and I did lots of rides together. He was kind of my ride buddy because we live very close to each other. But anyway, I like those balloons. Who's putting those things in there? But anyway, after that, the third horn player's name was Chip Klein. Chip Klein, I knew Chip from years and years, and that Chip really was a really good showman. I mean, he was. If you're going to say who was the one that kind of set the pace or decided kind of what moves the saxophones went. I mean, Robbie Devlin went on to work for actually Circus Soleil. I think he did, or he worked for one of those guys that did the stuff on the boardwalk. One of those Jim Rose or whatever the guy's name was that extreme that stuff. He worked in some of those things I heard, and he had a very successful career doing that. But he toured all over the place, from my understanding. Great guy, fun player, played the low and always played the low horn. But Chip, it was kind of the front guy. I mean, he was Chip, even though he was a saxophone player. He sang a lot of background, he and I sang harmonies and stuff a lot of times behind the singer and when we did stuff. But he was a great guy. I really loved Chip. Chip had a lot of personality. Chip was a slick guy. I actually went glam, I think, after the band and played, but as out front, which is really kind of what he was due to do. So anyway, Chip ends up being in the front man for Scatley Crüe. And we had these T-shirts, and I have it somewhere. One of these days I'll come back on the podcast and show you guys my Scatley Crüe T-shirt, because the bass player for the band actually did it, and we had a good time. So anyway, we got that done, and we played and we recorded some. So we ended up over at the studio. At the time, I was doing my first record, Identification. I was in the process of doing that. So the now came to record a Black Pond through my connections with Chris. And then following that, we were working for a while with the drummer producing us there for the Bad Brains, Earl, and he would come in and we get stuff done, and we worked a little bit after he would leave. He'd come for a certain period of time, and then he would go. And we were trying to get something together for Relativity, and I think they were interested in what was going on, but for some reason it fell through. And I don't know if it was because of Earl or what happened for it, but it was great. I mean, we did some good recording there, and that's how it started. But anyway, Scatley Crüe came through. But Scatley Crüe came when the bass player and Seth played together, and so that's how it happened. So We ended up recording two songs. They have one song on SoundCloud now. One song they have on SoundCloud is our version of "Living After Midnight." I mean, the lyrics. The thing of it is Chip was a perfect person to pick we kind of took the original lyrics, and then the idea was let's just make them ridiculous, kind of like Dred Zeppelin did with the Elvis. Hey, hey, mom. I mean, that guy with Tort Elvis or whatever his name was, those guys were unbelievable. But I remember they played like in DC in that one year 3 or 4 times. I mean, they played 930 Club over and over again. They packed the house every time. It was one of the early ones there. I don't remember what it was, but we played. We came on first. We were named Scatley, and somebody who came up with the name Scatley Crüe, probably Chip. And we played more than two songs. I don't remember the other songs. But the other song, which I think is even better than our version of "Living After Midnight," which is on SoundCloud, and if I find it, I vow that I shall put it up. I know I've got it at least on cassette. I looked, I had a Now compilation, something that I had that actually had both the songs on it, but "Paranoid" by Black Sabbath. Dung, 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 dung. It had like these a synthesizer thing at the front, and it started in with this heavy, like, horror. Because I was kind of the noise guy. I mean, I hate to say that. I was kind of displaced. I got put on guitar, and I thank him for including me. I also played some of the keyboard stuff. I remember a couple of the songs we played. We probably had a half-hour set. But I mean, Rich and I were playing keyboards together. I'd lean over and play keyboards on a song, and I'd play guitar on a song. But that one riff that comes through, we tried to put that in as a joke as much as we could. There's this riff that shows up in some of the early ska stuff, and Rich and I had like this sick joke going back and forth between us, just like, and Darby would laugh too. I mean, we had a good time. It's that riff that goes da 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 da. We put that in like every single aya 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 da da da, and Paranoid was kind of had that beat. I mean, Paranoid, Seth killed with it. But anyway, when we're in the studio with Chris had this. Chris and I were discussing, and he and I kind of had a language from working together. And he said to me, he said, "I think we need to put something to fuck this up." I said, "I agree with you." I said, "What do you got?" And so he played for me as a joke when we got there early, this really bad, and I don't want to make fun of anybody, but this really bad violin player. They're old folky people, but they couldn't really have a lot of ability, and their singing was kind of shaky, and they were old, and they had a violin that was kind of questionably in and out of tune. So we took that and we turned it backwards. So in the back of like Paranoid's got all these backwards sounds of that. I got to put this on because Paranoid is way better than Living After Midnight. However, what I was referring to earlier was the Chip Klein attitude or eyebrows, as we say for Mr. Motato. But he came out and said, and construed the lyrics, "Living after midnight." He goes, "I'm and everybody's girlfriend till the morning light," or whatever he was talking about, chasing after other guys' girlfriends instead. He changed the lyrics as like a club hopping thing. And if you knew Chip and you knew the whole attitude of University of Maryland, all those guys that hung out, it's just kind of, yeah, let's get wrecked and go get some girls and go have some fun. When he was single. Now, when he had a girl, he was pretty faithful. He's a good guy. He's a really good guy, though, man. And I wish all those guys the best of luck. The other guy, Chris Gelsinski, man, I saw a picture of him. He's done so well for himself. I look at him now. His hair's cut, but it's still Chris. I love Chris, man. Chris has got a great heart, great soul. Last time I saw him was unfortunately at the J.W. Hill's funeral, and Chris had married a really nice girl, had a nice family. I mean, wow, I'm so happy for him. He and I were close. We were pretty good friends. His brother Rich too. I mean, they were good guys. Chris worked for me faithfully at Penguin Feather for a long. He was I'm not or at the Wiz actually. He the best employee I ever had there, man. He lived really close to the store. He was great. But anyway, we had so much fun playing in bands. But that led to Scatley Crüe. So anyway, that's the Scatley Crüe story. That's how we ended up doing, and we ended up playing big shows. I mean, we played with we played as a joke, and this thing kind of went on. I think one of the first shows that we did had the flesh tones in it, and I think it was around the time of the 9:30 anniversary shows. And this is before Seth had gone on stage and played with the Foo Fighters or had done a lot of stuff. But they were grown. He and Rich Heineke. I mean, they. I hear from Rich all the time as a manager of store down there. You know, saying how big is this? How much is stuff moving? How many Smiths albums you doing or whatever? So they need to know that we book them at Lisner. Do we book them at a larger place? You know, at Warner. So I mean, it was a good thing. But yeah, we actually as Rich said correctly in an article you can find online. It's under A Pessimist Is Not Disappointed. Uh, Rich was working at Michigan State. I haven't talked to Rich in a long time. I know Rich was ill. It kind of scares me. I know Darby was ill. I was in contact with Darby probably ten years ago or something. I'd seen him. It's been a while. His wife and he actually came up here one time. He just wanted to see, the setup that I had. But Seth played drums, man, and Seth can hit him hard, buddy. Let me tell you something. And Marginal Man, Kenny, good guitar. And it sucks because at the end of it, I think we were considering on playing on something, and I came on stage and I was there late, and somebody handed me the guitar, and the guitar wasn't tuned up yet. It got real loud, and Kenny got upset and left. And I think Kenny always had a problem with me playing guitar a little bit in it because he was the main guitar player. But they needed another soloist, and that's kind of how I got started. I got displaced, and I should be playing keyboard some too. So I mean, I don't know what we were doing, working up new songs or something, but it was kind of a bad. They're just kind of petered out in interest for it. But Hill was great, and I mean, it was we had a great time. But yeah, we actually ranking Roger too, Scatolites. But yeah, the big thing was Dred Zeppelin. The Dred Zeppelin was the most fun, and we had a good time. We actually the one show I remember we played at the Bayou. I remember we played, and I kind of thought that was weird because the Bayou at the time wasn't run by IMP like the 930 Club was. So I thought that was kind of strange, but I'm talking about the old days, brother. I'm talking about the old days. Before I went to law school after this, and came back and settled here at the West Virginia Oblivion and made my stuff. Anyway, quick update on our stuff, guys. I hate to keep doing this stuff in, but it's happening now. We just received the inner sleeve that we're going to have. The insert you see on this side. That's our lineage there on that side, and then on this side it's old music pictures of in Kaiser, and then the back, of course, the old Kaiser High School and the lyrics. So anyway, it's getting close, guys. Thank you very much for tuning into this. Anyway, one of these days I'll do a proper history thing, maybe of myself musically, if anybody cares. I'm just, I'm really interested in just doing things now and seeing what's happening. But that was my take on Scatley Crüe, and that's a skinny on Scatley Crüe. And I'll tell you, Scatley Crüe had scant practice. We practiced very, very little. I don't know when we practiced. I think we've had to have shown up. I don't ever remember. Are we at a practice space up near College Park? I don't ever remember those guys being up there and practicing that. I remember practicing at the club at 930 Club and on stage and stuff. I don't remember. I don't remember any private practice. Maybe we did, but it's been a long time. But there wasn't many, and we had to have more than two songs. So I forget the songs, but I think we had at least four or five. I think. Oh, I think we did. I Can See Clearly Now. By Johnny Nash. That was one of them, but I don't remember like what was attached to that. Something was. I mean, that's a weird song to play, and I don't know how it came. It just got picked out of the air. Chip just picked it out of the air or something. That's a great choice by him. But anyway, right on, guys. Anyway, to all the guys back there, if any of you guys see this or anybody knows that, glad you're still kicking, brother, man. It certainly was fun, and hope to see you guys again sometime. I've really never been, I've been to New 930 maybe once. So, I mean, I'm just not, I don't get out like I used to. I've been to some concerts in DC. I saw the Sparks thing and stuff, but I just don't get down around the scene anymore. People think I've died. Record bins, we're always pop up periodically in the record bins. That's where we are. It's what we do nowadays. That's about all we can do. So, anyway, signing off now, man. To what extent my hazy or foggy or incorrect, please let me know. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Is this reaching anybody who ever saw Scatley Crüe live? It was kind of a rare thing, but man, it was fun. We had a good time. And Chip was one hell of a front man, man. We had a good time. And Rich and I, we always just laughed in the back, just laughed our way through it. I don't know, again, and I don't know. The question I get asked, most often about that is why was it you guys and not the other guys? And I don't know why. I don't know if we practiced after we left or what the deal was, but I don't remember. Or Darby wasn't interested. I'm not sure, because certainly he was welcome. I mean, anybody in the band would have been welcome. We were just getting the band together, and but it was fun. Seth was a hoot, man. Seth was just all in, man. He was great. Seth always had his a plum with his playing, man. He muscled through it, man. He was a good in his own right. He was a good player, and he never dropped the beat. His meter was really, really good. Surprisingly, it was really, really good. I mean, you think somebody that hasn't played, a lot, the meter would have problems. And at that time, I was playing drums all the time, so his meter was really good. Really was. I mean, his chops were rudimentary. He was starting, but man, he could get it done. And by the time, of course, he plays with Foo Fighters, and he's been playing for a long time, and had done what he did with Scatley Crüe on stage with bands several times before. But anyway, man, hats off, man. Skanking with the devil. That's what Chip says at the end. We'll see you guys later. Anybody have any other memories or anything? Be lucky enough, boy, I'd like to touch base with you, man. Leave your comments or leave your quips below. I will try, I promise you, to put up that version of Paranoid as soon as I can find it and upload it. It'll probably be on my SoundCloud page. I'm getting ready to work on the SoundCloud page with Welcome to Kaiser here soon. I haven't included any of the songs yet for any official links or anything, but we're getting ready to do that probably the end of the week. We still got a month till the record's originally out, and it's going to be in May. So sometime in May. We don't know when in May. We're comfortable to hold on to it. Shit, I've waited on this thing, a year too long anyway. It should have been May 2024, to tell you the truth. This was done pretty quickly, but I think it's benefited from the time. But anyway, right on, Scatley Crüe. Right on, guys. Right on, Rich. I hope everything's. I hope you're still going. I see Andrea all the time in the publications and stuff. And but anyway, I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace. Somebody has to pray. Somebody